What thing have you stopped caring about that improved your life? But some people think my hobbies are lame. Screw them. I have a decently successful career. I own my own house. I'm very happily married. If I want to obsessively watch fighting game tournaments on Twitch and go to local gatherings to play them when I have the time, then I'm going to, and I'm not going to hide my excitement for them. Don't know how to put this, but I stopped putting negative energy into people I disagreed with or didn't like. When I was younger, I would be annoyed by perky people because I felt they were fake. Or, if someone had a genuinely dumb opinion, I felt really frustrated because I wanted them to somehow feel bad. Now, I just don't care. In fact, if someone is pretty dumb but not hurting anyone, then I think they should be happy because we have enough misery in the world as it is. Overall, I feel much happier and more free because of it. I see negative people as time and energy wasters, and I used to be super negative and still am generally a pessimist. That's why internet trolls annoy me to no end. They're taking time and effort to make innocent bystanders unhappy. It's not even the stupid things they say that get me, it's the waste of time and resources for something so petty. And it's that I think they, and everyone they affect, would be happier if the trolls would just let things be. Obviously, the pettiness is part of their power, so they win in the end. I decided to stop wearing makeup for 6 months straight about 5 years ago. I never went back. I didn't realize how much time and energy it actually took. I also realized how closely you have to look at your face to put makeup on. When I stopped doing that every day, I stopped being so critical of my own looks. Drinking, specifically going to the bar. You see, when you slide from your 20s to your 30s, you might find yourself part of bar culture. I made 2 very close friends there. Out of the hundreds of people I met and knew well enough to email, call, go to lunch with, etc. That's not how it feels, though. It feels as if each of those people that you see daily or 3 times a week or each weekend is truly a friend, someone you can count on, and someone who cares for you, your life, and your troubles. They're not. As you continue going to the same places week after week, it gets easier to stay, and the drinking increases. Eventually, you find yourself in a place where you've pissed away thousands on alcohol. You're drinking way too much, and you simply don't know what to do with yourself if it doesn't involve the bar. It's very hard to break this pattern. It changed my life when I did. I apologize for how euphoric this is going to sound, but honestly, religion. I grew up trying to be the perfect Christian girl, but that was never really me. It was like I was trying to shoehorn myself into these arbitrary rules, when I had always felt like the golden rule was kind of enough. It all just felt like a huge waste of time and energy, and by the end got so tiring. Now my life has never been better. When I stopped caring obsessively about my appearance. At 26, I finally became secure enough with myself to be able to go out in public without makeup on. It's been so liberating, and it's given me a new confidence I didn't have in my early 20s. I've been taking much better care of my skin, washing it nightly and moisturizing/sunscreen. I'm focusing more on having healthy skin than on tanning beds and heavy makeup as I used to, and I'm sure I'll be glad I did later on. Being friends with the other women in my neighborhood. I used to see them hanging out together, playing with their kids, talking about wine nights. I didn't actually want to hang out with them, but I thought I should be like the other neighborhood women. Then I realized, no, I really don't have any desire to be friends with them. It feels great. The news. I cut the cord in 2008, and I haven't ever missed the news. I haven't seen CNN, MSNBC, Fox, or any others except in passing for 7 years. How has my life been better? Well, there was a plane that went missing a while back, and I felt bad for the families affected. I heard at some point that there was a guy who decided he was a girl, and I thought that was really cool for him that he could do that. I heard about an alarming number of police killing civilians, and some seemingly understandable uproar, too. But you know what? The sky hasn't fallen, and I'm pretty sure that my kids are going to be alright. It's not that I ignore the world, it's that I don't pay attention to the sensationalism of mainstream US news. I'm only sad because I think things would be better if everyone else joined me. Women in a romantic sense. It took me until college to lose my virginity to a girl who I was dating for around half a year. We had a bad breakup where she completely abused my trust in her. After that, I slowly stopped trying to appeal to women, and I deactivated my OkCupid profile. Not because I was bitter, but because I proved to myself that I was relationship able, and I no longer felt like I needed to seek one out so adamantly. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm still lonely, but just not sad about it. I still hope to have a relationship and start a family, but I feel like I'll just find love out of the blue one day. I used to spend a lot of time and money trying to remove the blackheads on my face. One visit to rSlash skincare addiction taught me that they weren't blackheads, they were sebaceous filaments and basically could not be removed. I've saved quite a lot of time and money since this discovery. Edit, I was trying to find the original thread, but there are so many about it. Just search for sebaceous filaments on Reddit, and you'll find a lot of threads about distinguishing between them and blackheads, how to minimize their appearance, etc. The bottom line is that they really can't be removed, and the skincare industry is trying to market us products that will not work, but we think we're just not buying enough. It was disappointing to learn, but also an immense relief. I stopped spending money on so many products that I know now will not work for me. Money or possessions. I earn the least amount I need to survive, and as I spend little, live off-grid, or own little, it is easy. Most people spend all their lives working jobs they hate to afford to buy things they do not really want or need. In the end, their possessions or desire for things they have been brainwashed into thinking they need controls all their lives. Rushing. Spent the last few years with people constantly asking when I'd be finished uni and earning real money. Stopped giving a fuck about 6 months ago and decided that things will take as long as they take. It doesn't matter as long as I'm enjoying myself. So just tacked on another year to my degree so that I can go on a 12-month university exchange in September. Can't wait. I stopped caring about video games. I played MMOs, FPS multiplayer, RTS, nearly everything until I was 26. Then on day I just stopped. Every now and again I'll spend 30 minutes tinkering with a game, but after that much time, I get this enormous feeling of anxiety, making me feel like I'm waiting my life again. In hindsight, I think it's because I see how much of my life I already wasted and wish I could have back, and subconsciously made the decision to never make that mistake again. Don't sweat the small stuff. None of it. Here's how to do that. If you find yourself getting upset about something, ask yourself if it's something you'll remember vividly a year from now, right down to the date. If not, just shrug it off and don't get upset about it at all. Some things you'll remember. When something legitimately awful happens, like someone you care about dies, you remember where and when and all the unfortunate details. And that's something which is perfectly reasonable to get upset about. But that parking ticket? That somewhat embarrassing thing you accidentally did in front of strangers? That idiot who cut you off in traffic, but didn't result in an accident? It's actually not important. In fact, you'll barely remember a year from now, if at all. Being the best. I'm a smart guy, but not nearly as smart as I used to think I was. I got so used to being the biggest fish in the smallest pond that I spent years and years of my life forsaking everything else for dominance. I had to make the most intelligent comments, get the highest scores, be the best employee. And I did. I wanted it so badly because I thought everyone gave a shit. Turns out no one gives a single shit outside of myself. There is nothing compelling me to drive obsessively to the top. Once I realized that and chilled the fuck out, life didn't just get easier, it became more meaningful. Familial relations. I have some really toxic individuals in my family who seems to have a self-centered, ghetto mindset that has ruined our relationships. I just decided to cut them off completely, and my life has not been better. I am calmer. I have a greater appreciation for the family I do get along with, and I see nothing but good things for the future. Not everybody likes you, and that's okay. Also, you don't have to like everybody. Just spend time with those people who make your day better. I have broken up friendships because they didn't make me happy. Look into your address book and make a red circle around every person that makes you happy, that lets you laugh, that you can tell your secrets and problems. Now start to spend time with the red circles and stop thinking about the others. You don't need people in your life who you don't enjoy spending time with. Differences between my opinions and other people's. I used to get really worked up when people liked music, books, or movies that I didn't like, or vice versa. I've come to the realization this year that their opinions are okay, too, and irritation is just exhausting. That's probably why I've stopped going to Tumblr in action. I used to be so stressed about everything: debt, crap job, bad relationships, etc. Then I had an incredible experience on magic mushrooms where I realized that time doesn't exist. Everything is happening in one moment, and none of this is really real. Now I just don't worry about those things so much anymore. After I stopped worrying about how my skin looked, honestly, I felt so much better. I have really shitty eczema, and I always have to wear long sleeves to hide it, but honestly, I just don't care what other people think anymore. The thoughts of insecurity still linger, but I feel better now than I have before. The fact that I will most likely die. Inevitably, I always come back to this issue, and it drags me down. But as soon as I manage to stop dwelling on the issue, I feel like a weight has been lifted from me, and life becomes good again. It's a really annoying cycle that I've been going through lately. As an introvert with a lot of anxiety and irrational fears, I've stopped caring/worrying so much about being around and talking to people. I'm still mindful of myself and others around me, just not to the point where I'm stressed, self-conscious, or anxious about it. This is a very recent change, and one that took most of my life so far, I'm 28, to figure out. As long as I know that whatever I'm doing or saying isn't bad or hurting anyone, then there's no need to worry that others may be thinking negatively about me. Because if they are, and I know I didn't do anything to deserve it, then maybe they're just an asshole, and that isn't my problem, it's theirs. What people think of me for my hobbies. I'm into video games and anime, and tried to hide that for quite a while, but then I figured, fuck it, why should I want to befriend someone who'd be enough of an asshole to judge me over something so trivial? Befriending people who like those things rather than judge me for them, I feel, is far better. If they want to start applying stereotypes to me, then that's their problem for being uneducated on the matter, not mine. You get one shot at life, and I'll be damned if I'm wasting it by bending my interests to please other people. This will probably get buried, but whatever, caring about past relationships and exes. It's important to remember them as the important milestones they were, but at the end of the day, they're not different than a birthday you had, a graduation, that time you broke your leg playing basketball, some accomplishment, or anything else. There is absolutely no need in looking back at a relationship with anger. It doesn't matter, it won't change anything, and you'll beat up yourself time and time again. I'm happy to say that I don't care either way what is going on with my exes. Sometimes I meet one of them, and we have a little chat, and that's fine. Sometimes I meet one, and they act like they don't know who I am and say mean things behind my back. And that's fine too. It's really not that important in the grand scheme of things. Honestly, my sister, she just leads a party lifestyle without ever holding down a substantial job. Her life is full or friend drama and always results in a huge scene that is emotionally draining. When given her advice, she freaked out, called me a few polite names, and I cut off contact with her. It's been a few months now, and since then she has lost her driving license, crashed a car, and been through a breakup, also had some medical issues and stayed in the ER for testing. All of which is due to her shitty lifestyle and life choices. Won't take advice and only cares about herself. It sounds awful, but for once in my life, I'm able to look after myself and put my own thoughts and feelings first. Best worst decision. I feel awful, but I have learned that you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Stop caring about my school grades. Really though, 2 years ago, I decided to study philosophy no matter what, and after a bit of research, I realized that I don't need a specific grade to study philosophy and just have to pass my final exams. In Germany, we call it Abitur. Since then, I just did the minimal stuff to pass all my exams, and the result? Life is good, man. While I've noticed that times in my life I have no friends, I've had a surplus of money. I was lonely, but well off otherwise. But the happiest times of my life were when I had more than 5 close friends. I'm always broke, but I'm happy. I'd like to have both, but I oftentimes have the problems of being socially inept and caring more about others' well-being than my own. Probably an atypical response, but I gave up on a career in music and never looked back. I was constantly comparing myself to others, losing sleep because I felt inadequate about myself as a musician and person, was fed up with the selfishness and narcissism of musicians. I know it's not all, but you can't deny this is a common trait amongst musicians, and left a toxic relationship with a bandmate. I still love music, but I don't ever miss playing it, aside from playing for shits and grins every so often, and am significantly happier and less stressed. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Love.